Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, guys. Make sure that you try these supplements out. They're very, very good, very healthy, natural, and you can check the link in the description box. That is Nature's Blend Black Seed Oil, and they have other things as well. Oh. Put your hand away, little boy. Boy. Hope you enjoyed the video. So we were talking before the show about the Trinity. What implications do you think this particular argument has on the Trinity? Because if we say that, well, this thing has to be one, I mean, and the Trinity postulates that there is three in one and one in three and three, or three independents, if you like, or
right.
if you like, three necessary persons. Well, the Father is necessary, the Son is necessary, the Holy Spirit is necessary. Would there be a contradiction in your mind with those two things?
Yeah, so this is a hard question for me in part because this is something that I've been kind of thinking about, and there are different models for how this might work.
Yep.
And I find it helpful to think in terms of models. One thing that I was saying before the show too is that I think sometimes people will divide over things where they actually can have a greater unity. I think about this with respect to my wife, Rachel.
Yeah.
So I have a relationship with her, connection with her. And I don't have to figure out her inner structure to know her personally.
Yeah.
I mean, I can speculate about her inner structure, and I can have theories, and some theories will make more sense than others. So I think this argument for oneness helps to constrain some of the options in terms of theological interpretation. And just to give kind of one model, and there's a classic kind of traditional articulation of this model where there's a kind of hierarchy within God. So if you think of God as supreme, and so God, by virtue of his supremacy, enjoys supreme attributes, including love, and doesn't depend on creation in order to enjoy that love. And so we could imagine then this supreme love being within the nature of God somehow. But then how does this fit with oneness, right? And so one idea would be that you can make a distinction even within the structure of God as one person within God is the primary, God the Father, and then from the Father proceeds the Son, and from the Father and the Son proceed the Spirit. So there's this kind
hierarchy.
of almost hierarchy, yeah. And I know there's objections to that, and further clarifications that could be made there. But that would be one model where, to be very honest, I don't see any contradiction in that. I don't see that that's of the form of A and not A. So that would be one model that one could think about. But I don't think that it's essential really to see God as supreme and as ultimate and perfect.
I see what you're saying. So interesting is you're moving away from the kind of Nicene or Constantinople understanding of three co-eternal
well, they would be co-eternal. So no, this is consistent with my understanding is this is consistent with this co-equal, co-eternal view, and that it's actually part of that tradition that there's a kind of eternal progression or eternally, begotten but not made sort of thing. There is a kind of hierarchy even within the system.
But the hierarchy, does it assume that one of them has more, say, power than the other one?
No, so they would all sort of share equally in supreme power, supreme knowledge, and supreme goodness. So in that sense, they would be equal. So they wouldn't be equal in all senses because they wouldn't all be the same person in that sense, but they would all be equal in sharing the divine nature. I mean, another model of this would be that there's a sense in which the whole is prior to the parts, and so the whole is sort of the ultimate, uncaused, undifferentiated, and it's in virtue of the whole that it has three elements or three members.
Would you say three? Would you say three parts as well?
Yeah, I use that term part, but I use it in the most general sense so that it will include constituents, members.
Because then someone may argue that
not material parts.
Yeah, of course not material, but still we're moving in the kind of modalist direction from a theological tradition.
Yeah, so that would be another model where you could allow that, and I understand some people say that's heresy, right? But I care about truth, right? Not what people say.
No, I appreciate it. And that's why before in the beginning of this show, I really found interesting that when we were talking about smartphones, you said something really beautiful. You said, I don't carry smartphones because I don't like to, follow the crowd or
Yeah.
And I found that
Right,
very powerful.
yeah.
But what I was
Yeah.
going to say, because we've only got like 10 minutes left, because I know you're busy, is I think that here's the Islamic kind of objection to the Trinity, right? Obviously, we talked about, if we go back to the necessary being, right? And we talked about the fact that if you have more than one necessary being, then what if one could be the other, or you put it in a beautiful way, so if something had the power to be something else, then it would the potential, right? Then it wouldn't be necessary, would it? It would be contingent. So so in the same way, if we say that the Father has the potential to exhibit the characteristics of the Holy Spirit, say, that one could argue that this is problematic from that angle, because then you have three necessary persons, right? That's one angle. The other angle is, if we accept...
Yeah, and I want to agree with that. I agree with that. That's why this provides a kind of constraint on how that could be unpacked. So there have to be some attributes that are essential. They can't just be potentially the other in that sense.
So with
if they share a nature, it's essentially shared.
But then if you think about it, the sharing. Okay, this is the Quranic argument.